This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
The winningest head coach in school history right now with a 1,000 winning percentage. He will give an opening comment in the game.
It's a really good feeling when you can get three returning starters back in your lineup to the likes of Josh McFarley, Jaleel Hogan, and Chris Jenkins, because what it does, it gives us an opportunity to not only settle the team in, it also provides us an opportunity for guys to execute at a little bit higher level. When you look at the others on our roster who hadn't really played in collegiate competition, those guys provide somewhat of a calming influence. Even as we got into the game, it was the first time this season under lights, that we were able to go in with a halftime lead. That's huge for our psyche. But furthermore, I think it's very important that we shored up a lot of areas with regards to value in the basketball, controlling the glass and winning the rebounding competition. But just as important, I thought we did a particularly decent job of getting to the free throw line. The uncharacteristic thing about tonight was that we didn't shoot it well from the charity stripe like we had showed in previous contests, but we'll get that together. The last part of things that I'd say is we were so honored to be able to not only grab this coveted first home win, but do it on Veterans Day. For all our active military and vets out there, we definitely wanted to dedicate this win to them for all the service that they do and the freedoms that they protect for not only us here in Titan territory, but for all Americans throughout the country.
Coach Jarzen, I thought your defense picked up in the second half. Kind of talk about what you were able to get accomplished.
Well, I think it was a byproduct of us raising our level energetically. And oftentimes, it's not so much what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. Guys were in position to be in position, but it's different when you're in position and you're there with enthusiasm executing the details of the game versus just being there. And I thought once our competitive spirit started flowing, we had some contagious energy come off the bench with Gerald Blackshear, guys like Ed Carter III, Patrick Robinson, Cole Long, and others that really got us going. And it's that type of energy that this team is going to have to project night in and night out for us to produce the type of competitive will and get some separation, against teams when we're trying to fight for wins.
Early in the game, Jaleel had 2 fouls quick. What challenge does that present when one of the key guys, starters, out with 2 fouls quick?
Well, again, like I mentioned earlier, whenever you get a veteran player that gets 2 early fouls like that, now that's experience that's left the floor. And so what we're trying to do is get our players, especially in the early stanza of the season, to adjust to the officiating call. There's always points of emphasis in college basketball. One of those emphases this year is freedom of movement. So anytime a player is going north-south towards the basket and you try to impede their progress, touching folks with your limbs or your hips, it's going to be a foul. So as we adjust to those early season whistles, I think that we'll have to make sure that our guys that come off the bench to support guys like Hogan to get in foul trouble are able to go in there with the same type of understanding. The great thing for us is when Gerald Blackshear comes in the game, here's a kid in our exhibition scrimmages had opportunity to get in there and know what it feels like to be in a game in early stanzas, so we really didn't miss a beat in that regard.
Challenge of going out on the road, now you got 4 straight from home.
I think it's going to be very important, especially for our younger, inexperienced perimeter players, to make sure that we value the basketball offensively. One of the things that can happen to you on the road is teams not only present a hostile road environment in terms of nobody rooting for you in those venues, but in addition to that, they can make those turnovers convert into touchdowns. And so we want to make sure we get good team shots for Detroit Mercy. We also want to make sure that we use a decent rotation where we can keep guys fresh. 5 games in 13 days is nothing to bark at the collegiate level, whether it's on the front end of your season or the back end of your season. But when you couple with that the level of competition that we're we're going to see. We got to be really focused, and we got to do a really good job of managing bodies. Right now, we'd like to settle into an 8 or 9 man rotation, but as you saw tonight, we had to use an upwards of 10 or 11 guys because some fouls ensued. So just taking care of the basketball period is going to be very important, but also seeing if we can limit teams to one shot on the goal is going to be very critical moving forward, which is an area of growth for us.
Coach, last question. Obviously, I know there were the 2 exhibitions, but want to know as coach, got your first victory. I mean, could you ever imagine when you graduated, playing your last collegiate basketball game that you'd be here right now, 1-0 as Detroit Mercy Titans head coach?
Imagine it, maybe. Actually do it, it feels surreal. I think that the opportunity that has been afforded me by Detroit Mercy, our athletics director, Robert Viles, and his staff, Dr. Antoine Garibaldi, entrusting me with the program at this chapter of our history has not only been an awesome responsibility, but to get that coveted first win, as PJ, you alluded to at the top of this media press conference. Now I'm the all-time winningest coach in the history of the school. Now, if we can make that continue, over the course of the next month, then now I'm going to ask you to pinch me because I'm probably dreaming. But no, it's been a very special opportunity, one that I'll covet for my career. I'll make sure I probably frame this box score and put it somewhere in my office because, again, it's not so much how many wins you accumulate over the period of your career. It's how you manage those losses, while you're going through the journey as well.
Did you guys feel the refs were calling the first half pretty tight? I know Coach got into it with them a little bit early on.
Yeah, it was pretty much touchy. Yeah. Calls.
After the first half, when you guys were only leading by 1, what message did Coach give you guys to come out and obviously play a little bit better and to get this nice victory today?
He just wanted us to play hard. At the beginning of the game, he just told us to win the game. So, we just had to come out and play hard, play defense. That's what he preaches. And we went out there and got a lot of stops. So.
Coach B.A. and Coach Jermaine both said it's too close. Especially after losing both our exhibition games, we couldn't risk losing another one. We turned it up defensively.